May 18th, 1982. Miss Stella Wallace and Karen Doyle were at the home of Doris Flanagan, interviewing her about her family history.
I've done last time, but they were microfilm readers, heading at the church, and Sister John was great if I wanted, she'd go through. But if we didn't like to ask, and then when they got them on microfilm in November, the archives, then I started doing more work on tracking them down. And now, but I haven't done a great deal. But what I did do was go through the house here. My son was going to UP. I graduated 6 weeks ago. He had taken a course in Father Bolger, and so with some of the stuff I gathered, he did a history paper on the Irish connection, sort of, that for them, and some of the things since that I thought were correct, I found out differently, and there's, with the family, we lived here with Ted's aunt, and I used to listen to her talking about them, and I knew her aunts and uncles' names, sort of, but it turned out there was two James. One had died young, and then there was a second one, and I hadn't known about the one that, and when you go through baptismal records, you find these extra ones, sort of, and so there's things that need to be corrected on that now, but you keep finding stuff. The other day, it's a while ago, out in the Catholic cemetery there, I found the Flanagan tombstone of old Andrews, and he died in 1905, but he was 90. And but in that grave there was a son, James, that was lost in 1918 through the sinking of the SS Sophia. So I thought he would have been too old to have been, even if it was the last year of the war. So, and I thought a Navy ship wouldn't be an SS, that's a steamship. And I started reading 1918 newspapers, and it takes forever going through them. You go up for a night and you only get through about 2 months at the most. And I think it was in November I found where one body came home, somebody at Mayfield or something, but that ship was lost. Between Skagway and Vancouver. But now when I looked on the map, it was just up by Alaska. It hadn't got very far out. 300 and some lost, everybody on board, passengers and crew. That'd be a fairly sizable marine disaster, and I'd never heard of it before, so at least I know where Jim was. I'd heard stories that he had gone up to the gold rush, and something about his body they didn't find it till the spring when the ice broke up, but I assumed it was in a river or something, and I never knew about this ship's disasters. Run into these. What was I going to say on planes? I don't know how much of this would be any good to you. Odd notes and scratches. There were a lot of Flanagans here early. Now see, there's only the one family now on the island, and they're all the one family. But there were a lot earlier. I haven't any idea. I think this Michael tied in, but I can't be sure. And I don't know where the Flanagans, because they sailed from Dublin, and they were mostly blacksmiths, something. So I think they were, according now, just then, tradition that they worked around the horse breeding area near Dublin, and that made it true. But there were quite a few things around, all over the place. Different lots of some sort. Rusty Co area, Mount Stewart. And this Michael was in Georgetown. And it seems to me there's enough similarity that he made that I haven't been able to tie him in. And all I know for sure, Earl brought me back out the Flanagans out of the Dublin phone book. But, see, there was a crowd that were in Georgetown, royalty, and I'm not sure how they did in, but I just keep that. All I know is the first one that's in a direct line back was this Bartholomew, and he died here, lived out in the West Royalty area in Ferns. and he died in 1849 here, because his death was in the paper, age 78, so that gives you approximately. He was here in 1831 as the earliest reference in newspapers. Of course, I haven't read every newspaper yet,
No.
but he was having pasture lots surveyed out there. So probably he wouldn't have been here much before that if he was just arranged for land. And his son Andrew was born in 1815, and it said that he was, on his tombstone, it's that born 1850, no, yeah, his age was given on it, and he was on the census, he was listed as having been born in Ireland. So they came out sometime between, if he was born in Ireland, they came between 1850, probably closer to 1830. But that's Andrew's family, and I'm pretty sure that I had found all the baptismal records for them in the St. Johnson's Parish records, because they always lived in West Royalty, so they were all there's some of them, I don't know whatever became of that Patrick. Annie died here. She never married. Bert is the one that's his grandfather. She married Mitch, the Cork ones. Then you know the Corishes? Yeah, that would be their great-grandfather, yeah, and great-grandmother. He was a seaman all his life, died in Halifax. She's buried with, she was a school teacher. This is the fellow that was lost up in near Alaska. No, this Eliza died young. The second Eliza lived. She was a school teacher. Esther married here. Charlotte, I haven't got a clue. I've never heard of it in anything. And this fellow I know went, and he was in Lawrence, Massachusetts. He was park commissioner there. Used to hear from his daughter. She just died a couple of years ago. But that was the...
Did they used to do that? Have you come across quite a bit of that where they would name children like that?
Yeah. One guy, they often named another one. And often it would be one that they died about the time that one was born or something.
And some would do that.
Well, it was still next door to say to some James Nichols died.
That would scare me.
Her first little boy was 11 months old when she was coming off from England as a war bride after the war, and he died in the ship just before they got to Halifax. He took pneumonia or something, there's no doctor on board, never thought of it. Then she named the next little boy, she named his children. And she was expecting another one at that time. She wanted to name him. Her father was James, and she wanted her James. He survived. But that first family, what I thought him, but then when I come to Bert, he was the one in the direct line, and he only had 2 children, which is unusual. If they married here, but he was 38, I think it's like 37. Mary Ann Tennessee had worked up in Boston for, quite a long time. And they just had the 2, and Mary never married. She was the one that lived to us, and then to its father. But there's an obituary of hers out of the paper, and a picture of her when she was old. And that was just from birth. I just read it out of the paper and copied it down. I didn't bother getting it photocopied. That's the Hennessy Funeral Home. I'm sure she died in Bert died before I was born. And then I went looking for her death certificate and for the statistics in each one. We've got her. Of course, death certificates weren't mandatory, and the funeral homes, would fill them out sometime. Must have mixed it up with someone else because it got July 29. Well, I had known from her daughter Mary that she died on on Easter Monday in April. And then her will was proved on May 6th of May. She was in Haiti. Yeah, but it's funny, things that you think would be right that you could go by and they're not.
Yeah.
But Bert, there's Reginald's family, 15th, that's why there's as many families around the house. He's revived this crowd of them.
Well, the other ones I imagine they only had the two because they married, so like two.
Yeah. So there's a picture of Reginald. These are just all postcards from about 1906, 1909 that Reg sent to his sister when he was traveling around San Francisco and Vancouver. He went, Kate's father went in the Northwest Mounted Police when he was young, north, and then when he left he was at sea and San Francisco and sailed out on ships somewhere and come back and then traveled across the United States. And then during the war, he sailed with Captain Reed. They took ships to Russia for the, and come back and then he was in the army. That was just a function. That's the family that's happening. And then there's just lists of, the present day ones, which wouldn't be as much interest.
We have some that we chose places. Yeah.
Then that Prudence, she married a Corcoran, and now their family are pretty well. Many of them is dead, and even his family now dead. There's just one daughter living down the Secretary home. See, Mary Prudence, she died in the name, and that's Prudence. And these were nearly all old maids. Minnie had a business college in town, and I can remember her. She threw her on the skirt. And Boston, there's not many of them married on. But there's the baptisms for their children. Mary only two of those still alive. But I don't know. That's Eliza Flanagan's yesterday. She was the second on the picture. There's that Sophia Saint, 25th of October stone. The end of it, Ruth and 343 passages. And the paper then, it was December, but they have on the tombstone, SSSOPI, they actually was
A lot of times they know people just spell things the way they sound it.
Yeah. I know my own grandfather's tombstone, that it was all, when my grandmother died, he had it all filled in with his own names on it and just the dates to be filled in. And that was just about the time we were moving in from Gordon. And Mom called their Bex had done it to fill, to put in the dates for it. And she gave it to him. What else after they were done and they had him born, his birthday was 18 Price they put in 1862, they put 1872. And when it's cut in, there's not much you can do about it. So, just depends, they probably, whoever, was doing the stone. Yeah, Karen graduated there last year. Charlotte, I don't know. Them and older were still looking, and this John Andrew, his wife, was kind of sad. He married a Karen from here, and they were married down at Notre Dame. They were married. She died on February. And it was just married, I think it was the previous July at Notre Dame Common, July 31st, the year before. So he didn't very long, and he married again and had a daughter, Catherine. But there's those fantasies. But I know the first three of them were born now. But it's not on. Well, they came out in 1849. They were supposed to come in 1848, the two brothers. And Dennis came. And he got a place in Great George. And they didn't come till 1849, because in 1848 when they were supposed to come, she was pregnant. And it was close enough that they wouldn't let them travel if the children were due, to have been born aboard ship. So they had to wait till after Alice was born. And they came the next year. So the first three, and they came in they missed the 1848 census. Dennis was here, but Thomas wasn't. And so then, I mean, you hear the stories that this is what happened, but then you kind of have to prove it. And so when they weren't on the 1848 census, it made it sound plausible anyway. And so then, all the rest were born here. These from Jamestown got the baptism, so that the Catholic so good. And I even found in the records when she was buried and when the son. This Kate had an interesting life. She never married. She lived to be 90, but she went up to Boston. See, what they seemed to do, all the sons learned shoemaking from their father. And the daughters went to Notre Dame until just to get enough education, and then they went into service as maids or housekeepers or something, mostly in the Boston area. Except Alice. When Alice was little, about 3, they used to live on Great George Street, about where it's Taxi and that is now, and he had shoemaker shop, shoe shop, and a small grocery on the first floor, and they lived above it. But they pastured their cow. I suppose everybody then had one, like on the corner of Dallas Hill. And they had a snowbank, and they had a sled, and her leg got caught somewhere or other and got pulled out of the start, and then that leg never grew, and it was sort of a short. And we used to have here, they were in the attic when I came here first. There were skirts of her. She always wore long skirts, but there was this hole stitched in the side that she had this crutch that her brother-in-law had made for her that fit up under her arm, went through under the skirts, and most people never knew that she only really had one leg that was functioning, because this other one just stayed the size, they said, of a little 3-year-old's. It just never grew anymore. I suppose whatever was cut off. Couldn't have been Bud's fire, because it just never grew. And she always, but then when she got out, she taught the longest, I think, of anybody, Tom, what's his name? Bradley. It was the teacher, he was writing the history of Queensbury, and I think she taught longer than anybody, Queensbury School, and she was responsible in a way for teachers getting pensions and that. But see, she was the only one that was really educated because she had this handicap. But the other girls all went up to the New England somewhere. The Catherine went, and she was for years and years housekeeper for Bartlett, that wrote that Bartlett's quotations, that book, and Longfellow, and then used to come to the house for dinners, and she was there for years. And Mary Ann, that's Ted's grandmother, she was a good seamstress, and she worked for a rich Boston family, and all she did was look after the children's clothes and the household needs. Just make them in repair. And Sarah was the housekeeper in New York. She married going on Island and stayed there. But Kate came back when Mary Ann came back and got married, and Kate came back when she retired. And she and Alice's sister and the brother, Jim Wilson, they bought the house over in Dallas Hill, that corner one. It was a really nice house in its day. It's all been cut up and thrown out, but it was, and they lived there until they got in their 80s and went down, retired, down to Secretary home. But,
which one, did you say one of those are still living?
no.
No?
Kate was the firstborn, but she was 90 when she died, so she was the last to die. Found hers. And it's right, as far as and this Dennis, he was a shoemaker, but he died young, up in Summerside. It was in the newspaper, he died somehow. His remains would be down the train. And then they had his burial arrangements. And Alice was the school teacher, she never married. But there was just her card. You know, she'd go visiting, I suppose, quite formal. But then I found her death in a couple of places, and then she'd be in the directories, like it was 236 Great George was the address. Now, that it would be the house over, I think, on the corner, on the other side, not where it's taxed, not where her father would be. He left it to her because she was the best educated, you know, to kind of to manage his estate as well. But it's hard to go by numbers. See, this house, all the old directors, this house was number 76 for years and years, and then they renumbered them, and it's been 62 now for since 1914 or something. They changed it. But in the early directories, 76.
That would be unusual for her to be left in the state, wouldn't it? I imagine it would be usually the boys that would be left.
Yeah, but she, as I say, she was the best educated. The boys had only had enough schooling. They didn't seem to be really high on education for themselves. Trade, to learn a trade. And there was just an obituary that was in the garden and she died.
And many who now occupy prominent positions for accounting in the United States received early tuition from this country. She helped them out with their schooling?
Teaching at school, yeah. She get a lot of letters and things from them. And now Sarah, the one that went to Long Island, those are just postcards that her children sent home to Mary here, there. That was pretty for a while to type, but I wish to have found them. They're old timers, some of them. And that was the son that died young. 17.
Yeah.
And there was a card he had sent us. 1910, Christmas. December, he died again. The Tignish ones, Father Reed was up there and he got some stuff out of the records for me with, you know, the baptisms and so on. And I don't know many people in Tignish, but at the French class, he was up, and it's a shame, not many of them, no, I don't think. And a lot of them went to the United States and just didn't keep in touch. Now these are the only ones. Jim Tennessee's family up there. Jim died a couple of years ago. And I don't know which one it is. Percy. No, it's Arthur. I think it was in the side Yeah, Arthur retired. That's Christmas there, and the Kidney Fire Department, and the girls were softball teams and that. And but they're the only fences left in Ireland. With the fencing. Just that one thing.
The ones up into the nation?
Yeah. It's what I say, the Irish families, either they married and had big families, or an awful lot of them were bachelors and spinsters. They seemed to go one or the other, either they didn't marry. Seems true of a lot of them even now. I've got pictures of those first ones, if you'd like to see them. There's the first Mrs. Hennessy that came up from Ireland Dallas. That was taken when she died because Sarah was in New York and was pregnant and couldn't come home. And they had that, and there's a tintype, hand painted of the same. And this is Mary Ann Hennessy and Bartholomew Flanagan. That was taken just before they got married in 1886. It was her taken in Boston when she worked up.
How far would they give back now, Danny?
Those are 1886. She died in 1870. I've gone through so many names. Alice died in 1878. That's back in the name. That's over 100 years. 54 years.
I wonder what she has on the phone.
I adjusted.
Oh.
And the bonnet is all kind. It's interesting to see how the word that's.
Because there's probably not very much in the line of the record in that type of thing.
No, how they were dressed when they were late.
And I would imagine them would be on this line.
Never see that now. Now it's interesting with the clothes they wore, the high necklines and she was a great one for these little bits. Of course she had something like about a 22-inch waistline. There's still a little jacket. I don't know if it's one, it's still there, the picture. I don't know if you're interested in that kind of thing. It's upstairs.
Anything at all like that.
Very dainty because it's not very big by any standards.
No. What's all of it?
That's the shop. Worn over a good black dress.
Yeah.
Kids used to wear that sometimes. Go around, but I mean, she was.
Yeah.
I was never in the daisy category like that.
The next one is
3.
But I thought it was kind of cute to say it. I had some of those old.
Never throw that away.
But there was another. See that corner there on the stairs. When I came here, see, this house, that Tom Fennessy bought this house in the corner in 1861. It was the first property he bought. Dennis had rented that house, and and when they landed here in 1849, they stayed with Dennis as a place to stay. And Dennis decided to move up to Tignish. There was land he could get, and he got a great big acres and acres up there. And so he still rented the place, but evidently it wasn't for sale then or something. This was the first property he bought, and he bought the two together. And all the old deeds and things are here. This house was a single one at the time. And then in 1864 or 5, they brought that convent down the river, that church down on the ice, and put it in there. And they thought they would expand this way. They sold that one to the church. In exchange, got an extra 14 feet at the back here, and that deed is signed by the bishop. I say it did because it's nice to have the handwriting. And then he put a mortgage on this one, rented it, and mortgaged it, and bought that McCrae's corner over there, a couple of lots on the corner of Euston and Upper Queen. And there was a house, there were two houses, 2 lots. And then it was later he was able to buy the one he lived in on Great George Street. So what he would do, he'd buy one, mortgage it, buy another, and for somebody that came out with evidently nothing but tools and a few household treasures, he didn't do very bad. And but then when he died, he left this estate for us. Now all the rest of them signed. Well, then in 1886, when Mary Ann married Bert, they bought from Alice this house, and Bert moved it back on the lot in 1890, and it was a 2-story house. You could see in the attic, you could see where the roof had been, but he built the 2 front rooms on, and built the roof up over the whole thing and made it like 3-story, then, and divided it and made it 2 of them. So it's, but, hello Mother, how are you? This is what, Stella Wong and Karen Doyle.
How do you do, girls?
Their work project into Irish immigration and stuff, so we were...
Oh my, you're getting back in history.
Yeah.